Well, my guest today is Heidi Horne. Now, Heidi is a renowned speaker and corporate trainer, recognized as a mindfulness and a mindset expert. Heidi is known for her inspiring, passionate, and positive presentations on mindfulness, stress management, positive mindset, and resilience. Heidi is the author of 2 books that are globally published, including the popular children's book Mind Flip, Emotional Toolbox, and Positive Mindset for Kids and Teens. For more than 17 years, Heidi has been teaching mindfulness, mindset, yoga, and meditation to help kids to corporates find their inner calm. With qualifications in counseling and mental health, life coaching, yoga teaching, and mindfulness, she has presented and facilitated to thousands in workshops, trainings, and retreats. Heidi loves to share her experience, in-depth knowledge, and passion for happiness, resilience, and positive mindset when presenting to audiences. With extensive professional and varied life experience, Heidi is real and engaging and has a flair for connecting with audiences of all ages in a natural and honest way. Heidi's energy, ability to captivate, and conviction in the power of our minds will leave audiences with strategies, techniques, and insights, and a deepening belief that tomorrow can and will be better. Heidi Horne, welcome to Pitch Perfect.
Thank you, Jamie, for having me. That was a lovely introduction.
I love that introduction. I couldn't help but smile as I read it out. And of course, you've come into my world through Paid to Speak, and you're in my PR club. So it's so great to have you here. And when you look at all the things that you can talk about, it's quite a long list. How did you kind of get into this? It's like, to sum it up, it's like a positive mindset world. How did you get into this?
Oh, I suppose if I go really, really far back, I was always a really happy kid and a really positive child. And, I just always have been aligned with what I do for work to make people feel better. So even before I was, into speaking and yoga and meditation and so forth, I don't know, many years ago, I used to work as a tour guide, and I loved it because I knew it made people have a good time. And then as pretty much anything that I've done, it's about, I suppose I am a people pleaser, but I know how things feel for me, and I want others to feel that way as well. So going back for a really long time.
I love that. So one of the things that I really want to talk to you about is one thing you're talking about when it comes to happiness habits at the moment, specifically is 5 ways to cultivate joy before your workday. And that's probably the pick for today's podcast. How do we do it? I know I struggle in the mornings. I'm a mum of 2 little boys, and the time I get into the office every day, like even today, I'm exhausted. I feel like I've already, completed a full day just getting my kids out the door into daycare. So, how did you kind of come about this? Before we get into the 5 ways, what kind of was the motivator for you to be able to create something like this to help people cultivate joy before they start their workday?
Well, I suppose I have found from teaching, women's retreats for a really long time and also corporate workshops that when I talk about, maybe creating a gratitude practice or adding some meditation or mindfulness to, your day, and you're already talking to people that are busy, overwhelmed, stressed, time poor, that when you talk about adding something else into your day, it creates more stress. And I wanted to keep it super simple for people. Around about 6 months ago on Christmas Eve, I actually had an accident in Japan. I broke my wrist, and it caused me for my own busy life, to go from lots and lots of activities to completely stopping. So it gave me a lot of time to think about really what I wanted to share with the world and my message for people moving forward, and where I really wanted to spend my own energy. And I actually had time to to cultivate my own practices as well. And I realized that the things that that I usually relied on to keep myself happy, the things that were around me, which is a lot of what people do when you think about outside happiness. It's the things that are happening around you, that having a nice house or having friends and going for a walk on the beach, whatever you're doing, you're doing that to be happy. I couldn't do a lot of those things with a broken wrist. It was my right arm. I couldn't work. I couldn't drive. I couldn't do yoga. I couldn't play with my kids, all the other things. So I was like, well, I need to focus on how I feel inside. So that's my inner happy. And that's really related to what joy is. So as I sort of came off, the drugs that were keeping the pain away, and I started to have a little bit more time to get out and about, I was like, okay, so how can I have that inner happiness without all the scaffolding of the outside happiness around me? So I started just to add one little thing every day, and I kept it really simple, just into 1 minute. And I was like, it's sort of a little bit like an experiment. I thought, can I, 1 minute really make a difference? And it actually does. So, and then I thought, well, 1 minute, then I can maybe do it into 2 minutes and longer. And then I started to set my phone every day to go off every hour, and I would reset my happiness throughout the day. And then I was like, oh, this is really cool. This is what I could be teaching people, that from as little as one sort of magical minute, you can reset your inner happy. And no matter what is going on around you, and most of those things we can't control, we can still choose to be happy every day.
I love that. There's so much lesson in that alone. And I think it's great when we have something happen to us, which really creates that motivation to be able to help others, having gone through that yourself. So, Heidi, what are the 5 ways to cultivate joy before your workday? Can you take us through them?
Well, there's more than 5, but I kept it simple so not to overwhelm people. But I suppose these 5 are the tried and tested ones, and they're all proven and they're all backed up by scientific research as well. So it's not just me going and saying it. But first of all is gratitude. And I know gratitude is a word that is thrown around there a lot. And, you only have to go to Kmart or, stores to see gratitude or thankful pillows everywhere. But when we're talking about being gratitude, it's not about being thankful for the things that we take for granted and the things that, are very obvious. It's about really having that deep sense of, it's a real tingly feeling if you have that gratitude of something that feels overwhelming because it's so important in your life and it has such an important aspect. And the great thing about gratitude is you can't be angry and grateful at the same time. It's impossible. And you can't be overwhelmed and stressed and grateful at the same time. It's impossible. So if you do want a quick way to let go of those negative thoughts or that, there's angry emotions that bubble up in us, just having a minute or so to feel those feelings of gratitude is a really good way to do that. And when I talk about gratitude, it's all about making as specific as possible. So rather than just saying, I'm thankful for my house, might be, I am thankful for my house because I feel really secure and it keeps really warm and it's where my lovely family is. And I always get a sense of relief when I walk in the door. So being really specific about what brings you that feeling. And one of the best tips as well is making the gratitude about yourself. So many times we're grateful for the things outside of us. Once again, my children or my job or, food and so forth. But if you can be grateful for the things about yourself, that's also cultivating self-love and self-worth. So I am so happy and grateful that I look after my body every day and I respect myself by going for a walk and eating healthy food. So it's about, yourself, self-worth and self-confidence. It helps you let go of those negative self-beliefs as well.
Yeah, so can you take us through the top 5 then? Is it a simple matter of a quick check? I'm like, get to the point here. No.
Okay, sorry. So
we talk hours about this topic because it's so interesting.
Breathing, meditation, positive affirmations, and also smiling or having a laugh. So that's the 5, but I did go into detail.
Oh, yeah, I love it. And so how do you help people? I mean, it's all very well. You can just give me a low-hanging fruit, give me a list, but I'm probably not going to do it. So do you actually take people through and help them to do this?
I do in workshops and corporate wellness programs. So I do that. And people can also download a mindfulness package as well from my website. And that will have a lot of positive affirmations in there, a lot of guided meditations and ways to do it as well. So hopefully, it's as simple as, reading the list and putting it into practice. But it's like anything. If you don't start the process or practice something, it's never going to happen, So it's, even though it seems really simple 1 minute, but you still have to put it into practice.
I can tell that you live and breathe. Just as you're talking, you're just radiating this positive energy. I'm going to show this video, of course, for those listening, without seeing Heidi's face. She's just radiating happiness, and you can't help but smile back. Do you think that some people really do need that extra push? So, for example, meditation for me, I've never got into it. I can't sit still for long enough to really get into it. Can you do this, I guess, without meditation is probably my first question. Is that the be all end all, or can you still kind of adopt these principles without getting into the meditation side?
You can do, even just choosing one of these is enough. So you don't have to do all of them. So, but meditation, I do hear all those excuses that I've tried it all. It's not for me. I'm too busy. I can't sit still. But really, even just doing a breath meditation, so counting up to 10 really slowly, is a form of a meditation. And if you do that slowly for 10, that's roughly a minute. And it has been proven, and it will make an effect on your mindset. It will make an effect on your nervous system. It will allow you to be more focused and increase all your endorphins and dopamines and all of the other good feel good chemicals. So even just counting slowly to 10 as a breath meditation is a simple way to do it. But you don't have to meditate. You can try any of these, and you're on the right way.
Yeah, it's funny. I went to an event a couple of months ago, and we practiced saying different mantras in our head. And I can't remember what we actually said to be stressed, but then the contrasting statement we said, we had to close our eyes and say, I am calm, I am calm, I am calm. And it's just incredible how powerful that was, just by the mindset and putting that into place. So, I even think back to, I not think back, but I mean, at the moment I'm doing deadlifts at the gym, and I've just lifted 150 kilos.
Amazing.
And it's so much dependent on mindset for me to achieve that when I go into the gym. Yeah, sure, I've got the strength, but if I tell myself I can't do it, I literally can't pick it up. But if I change my mindset to, I can do this, I can do this, I do it. Do you think that is so true even in business when we're setting our goals, and if we're entrepreneurs trying to achieve big things? How important is mindset, do you think, in achieving those things?
I think it's 100% important. Really, you can go back to very famous quotes, but it's all about what I think I become, is pretty much sums up all of the quotes from all the people throughout the ages. And what you're telling yourself is how you're going to pan out. So if you get up on a normal workday and you tell yourself, oh, it's raining, I've got a really big meeting, I don't really want to go there, it's going to turn out to be a really bad day, it's going to be a bad day because you've already told yourself that. And that's the word affirmations comes from the word affirmed, which means to be true. And it's what you are believing. But you could go into the same day and go, okay, it's raining, I've probably missed my bus, I've got this big meeting, but that's okay, I've got this, I can do this, it's going to be a great day, I'm still alive, all is good in the world. You're pretty much on that first step to having an awesome day. So really it's, if you can, in those first few minutes before you even get out of bed, just check what your mindset is doing. And you can, if you start to go, notice that you're getting into that stress mode or already before you've got out of bed, you can just have a minute or so just to change that and tell yourself how you want to feel.
I'm
I know it's
laughing because
simple, but it's you make a big difference.
yeah, and I'm only laughing because most mornings, my first thought is, I'm busting to do a wee. I hope my 3-year-old does not jump on me. That is literally my first thought every day. Maybe I should change my mindset there. When
You can go for your wee and then do it.
and then do it. Yeah, okay. We'll get that out of the way. So I've got a clear mind and clear bladder.
I actually, because I have puppy dogs, I go and feed them first. And then I sit outside on my deck and have sort of like, I mean, I have about 20 minutes, half an hour to myself. But even if you just went out there for 5 minutes or go into somewhere where you've got a space just for yourself, and even if you have to lock the bathroom door for 5 minutes, but just have a few minutes just to set yourself for the day, that can make a big difference.
Yeah, I love that. And just finally, I mean, when you talked about how you got injured and you hurt your wrist, were there moments where your positive mindset was challenged? And this is, where you thought, wow, because it could have been so much worse, I'm sure. And that's something for any of us who ever get injured, that definitely that thought runs through our mind. Was it a real challenge for you to shift your mindset during that time?
It totally was. It was Christmas Eve, and I felt like I'd ruined my whole family's holiday. Of this holiday, we booked 3 times, and it was 3 days into a 3-week holiday. So we, instead of celebrating on Christmas Day in the snow, we were trying to work out how to fly home for surgery. So yeah, I just my positive mindset was very much challenged, and I felt like because there was a lot of things that I couldn't control, and I'm used to being in charge of my own ship. I did feel a little bit out of order, and I did have to rely on my children and my husband and other people to help me, which I'm not so much used to doing. So yes, my positive mindset was challenged, and that's why, it did take a couple months to realize how can I still feel happy every day, even though I'm not doing what I normally would be doing at this time.
I know what it's like when you're overseas. We got knocked off a motorbike in Thailand quite a few years ago, and we both had broken limbs. And it's so scary trying to get home. And in my other half's case, he ended up needing surgery when we got back to Australia, but they put a full cast on his broken wrist, and then we flew home, and then it all expanded, and he was in absolute agony. That was at like Phuket Hospital, wherever we were, Bangkok Hospital in Phuket. They put a full cast on him. It was horrific. So I totally know how that feels being in a foreign country. But I think good on you, Heidi, because I mean, you came into my world just before that, and then just after that, we were in touch about joining Pay to Speak. And you certainly have, like in the last 6 months, invested in yourself and constantly putting yourself out there. So even though that was happening to you, I do remember you at the same time constantly striving to do professional development and to invest in yourself. So now look at you, you're just beaming with this absolute radiant energy. So I think that there's a lot to be said for that. So good on you.
Thank you.
And if people want to get in touch with you, they want to work with you, have you as a speaker, look at your website to go on to retreats that you run and all the different offerings you have, how can people find you?
Well, probably the easiest way is just through my website. It's just Heidi Horne, Heidi, HEIDI.co. And you can find happiness habits there. I'll give you the download link. So it's a free download for everyone. And yeah, all the information is there. I do have my own podcast as well called Mindfulness Moments. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Oh, fantastic. And we will put a link to that download in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for coming on to Pitch Perfect today, Heidi. It's been great talking to you. And I know you've sprinkled so much knowledge and motivation for so many people listening right now. So thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Lovely to be here.